What's up, guys? Welcome to the Factory Financial. My name is JD Nevels, and on this channel we talk about three things: personal finances, real estate investments, and stock market, mainly through my TFSA. The name of the game is to reach financial independence, so I can quit my factory job, hence the Factory Financial, right? So in this video I want to talk to you about buying a house or home privately, right, in Ontario. So everything goes from A to Z, whatever, Z, whatever happens in between, so you know exactly what to expect each step of the way. So the first thing first that I would suggest, go with the RBC bank, right? If you can, go with RBC. It's not that RBC is the best bank in the world or they have the best mortgage rates or whatever, no. I was told by plenty of real estate agents when I was looking to buy and when I was putting offers, go with RBC, because RBC has a one thing that's better than everybody else. Once they do pre-approval, you can put in, like, even if you're doing private, or it doesn't matter if you're doing if you're putting an offer through a real estate agent, you can put it in offer as a cash offer, right? So once you get pre-approved, it's good as cash with RBC. Everybody else doesn't do that. Even like when I got a pre-approved from CIBC, or not CIBC, sorry, Scotiabank, I still had to put in condition, money, financial condition when I was doing everything. So go with RBC if you can. If not, doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, every bank approves the loans, so you're gonna get the money. Okay, so once you get your pre-approval, once you get that done, you're gonna go to a lawyer, right? So find yourself a real estate lawyer, and the seller also has to find their own real estate lawyer, right? So what I did, I paid for mine and the seller's real estate lawyer, because just to make everything smooth, and to use the term that Navy SEALs are using in the States, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? So everything, I just want to make sure everything's smooth, and I think it was like $600 the fee for a seller. The real estate lawyer fee for a seller was 600 bucks. So it wasn't that much money, and I used both of the real estate lawyers, they're friends, so they do business all the time, so everything was like interconnected, so everything was fine, everything was real quick, right? So both seller and the buyer will have to get a lawyer, right? So once you get a lawyer, go to the lawyer, and you're gonna get I think it's like OREA 100 form or something like that. They're gonna give you a form, right? But before they give you the form, you're gonna have to give them the name of the person who's selling, or persons who are selling it, who are rightful owners, and you're gonna have to give them address of the place and the price. So they'll fill that information in. They're gonna give you a copy. You take your copy, go to the seller. You guys gonna sign a bunch of paperwork. The initial bunch of paperwork is boring. Oh my god. So once you do that, you grab those papers, you take it back to the lawyer. Lawyer's gonna give you a copy, and then with that copy, you're gonna go to the bank, okay? Alright, so now in post-op, I just realized I made a mistake. I didn't mention that you also have to put a check, like you have to give 1,000 or 5,000, depends why you agree with the seller, as a security feature, right? So let's say you back out of the deal, if there's $1,000, it's like a penalty, right? So if you walk away from a deal, it's a penalty, right? So you have to talk to your seller. So usually it's like around $1,000. Just write a check, and then the seller takes that check to their own lawyer. Alright, continue with the video. So, like I said, if you did with RBC, everything's gonna be pre-approved. You don't have to worry about anything. If you didn't, if you did a Scotiabank like I did, then the mortgage broker is gonna ask you, or a person, whatever, whoever is in charge of mortgages, they're gonna ask you for T4, 3 or 4 weeks worth of pay stubs, employment letter, and 90 days. Yes, very important, 90 days for money. So money, the down payment money, needs to be in your bank account, savings or checking, doesn't matter, for 90 days. They want to see that 90 days. If you did what I did last year in March, when the stock market just crashed, right? So I'm like, woohoo, fun, right? So I took 10 grand from my savings and I put it in my Simple trading account, and I bought a bunch of shares, a bunch of stocks. So I was like, woohoo, everything's on sale. I was making money, right? And then 2 or 3 months later, I found opportunity. I bought a house, so I sell out of everything. I sold out of everything and then transferred money from Wealthsimple back to the Scotiabank. So I had to show like, okay, this is where the money came, point A, this is where I transferred, point B. So I have to submit all the paperwork for everything. So if you can have money in your bank account for 90 days, so it's just there, nowhere else for 90 days, do yourself a favor, just do that. Don't do what I did. So it's not a big deal, just like you have to jump little hoops, you have to print out paperwork, you have to explain yourself. The less you have to explain, the better it is, the smoother it is, right? So you get everything to your bank. So they look at everything, they're gonna scan everything and hopefully pre-approve you, right? So what happens next is they will send appraiser to appraise the house. And this is where I was like really sweating. This is where I was like so nervous, because the houses that I buy, they're distressed properties. They need a ton of work, so the initial value is not there. Like their overall after repair value is like immense. It's like crazy, right? But at the time when I'm buying, they're crap, right? So they'll send an appraiser, and then the appraiser's gonna come in, they're gonna take a look at everything, take notes, whatever. And the problem with the appraiser is like they're humans, right? So one day they might be pissed off, whatever, their wife or husband or significant other pissed them off, they go, they see like, I don't like this, whatever, they give you crappy. It happens, trust me, it happens. I heard horror stories. So that's where I was like very nervous, right? So the appraiser goes in, appraises the house, they're gonna send it back to the bank, and hopefully let's say if you ask for 200,000 mortgage, they give you 200,000 or more value worth of the house, right? So if everything goes good, they send it back. Even if it doesn't, they'll send it back to the bank, and then the manager in the bank is gonna be like, okay, I got everything. So here's the two scenarios where it's gonna play out right now. Number one, if you have a 20% down payment, what happens next is, so the bank manager or mortgage broker, whatever, they're gonna package everything together, and then they're gonna send it to the bank's headquarters, right? So somebody regional, like for me it was in Toronto, so somebody there's a department of Scotiabank, yes, in Toronto. So somebody over there, they take a look at everything, the paperwork, make sure everything is fine, and then they approved it and then send back, right? That is 20% down payment. If you do not have a 20% down payment, if you have a 5% down payment like I did, what happens next is like they'll package everything, and then they're gonna send it to the CMHC. So CMHC is gonna take a look at everything, and they're gonna say, okay, the money's there, you make enough money, everything's fine, blah blah blah, check mark, check mark, check mark. They're gonna send it back to the branch manager, and then they're gonna charge you, I think it's up to 4% in insurance. So it's 4% of the value of the house, right? It's nothing you can do about that. It is what it is. For me, it was worth it. Like, I didn't care that I had to pay $6,000 insurance fee, because the house that I bought it for 160, but I can sell it after repair value for 350 or something like that. I don't know. The Ontario, like Western Ontario, is right now on fire, so I don't even know. I think it's like 350. So it was worth it for me to pay $6,000 in a CMHC because I didn't have 20% down payment, right? So once the bank mortgage guy gets your CMHC papers, everything's fine. They're gonna send it to the HQ. HQ is somebody's gonna look at everything. They're gonna send back, and then you're gonna go to the bank and you're gonna sign your life away. There's like a bunch of paperwork, like your arm's gonna be killing you after you're done. So you sign everything away, everything's fine. The next step is you're gonna have to have a check, right? So you go to the teller and they're gonna cut you a check for down payment and all legal fees, right? And it's gonna be in your lawyer's name. Whatever they give you the name, they'll tell you, okay, put the money into this trust or whatever it is. You're gonna have to cut the check, and then you're gonna have to go to the insurance company, right? So you're gonna have to get insurance on the place, right? So whatever you do, do not joke about house being older than 100 years like I did, because that was the dumbest thing I did. I was joking about it, and the person that was on the other side of the phone, insurance company, they were like, oh, it's 100 years old. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm not sure if it's like in 50s or 60s, but I don't know. Like, the owner of the house didn't know. Well, I'm sorry, I have reasonable grounds to believe the house is older than 100 years, and in order for us to provide you insurance, we have to go get an inspection done, and no this, no that. I'm like, holy crap, like, I was just joking and just end up backfiring on me. So whatever you do, do not joke about house being older than 100 years. Don't do it. So you get insurance, get a check, go to your lawyer, give your lawyer a check and give your insurance papers, and that's it. The lawyer is going to give you whatever you set for your closing date, whatever you did. That's it. You're just waiting for a closing date. You go to your lawyer. He's going to give you the keys. Congratulations. You're in crap load of debt right now. So that's about it. Another thing I want to mention just before I close on this video. Once you're signing all the paperwork with the seller, right? So initial OREA 100, whatever the thing is called, right? When you're signing this, put a clause, right? There, I want you to put at least two clauses, right? One is for finances, just in case something happens, because what happened to me, because it was a Rona, took forever. CMHC took forever freaking to get back to the paperwork. Everything was backed up. Everybody was like, oh, we're understaffed, we're this, we're that. So instead of a closing day being 30 days, I had to extend it to 45 days, right? So I had to call the seller. Thank God it was cool, right? So I had to like, I'm so sorry, it's Rona, people are freaking out. I set my closing date for 30 days. Can we please extend it for another 15 days? It's not me, it got nothing to do with me. And at that point, the seller could have said like, yeah, up yours, I'm not doing this, right? So he could have, but he didn't. He understood the situation. So give yourself a little bit more time, like 30 days should be right now, be fine. Talk to your mortgage guy or a lady when you go there, like how many days should I put in, like 30, 45 days, right? Because everybody's like super slow. That's one thing that was killing me. Everything's super digital these days. It still took freaking 30, 45 days to finish all the paperwork, right? So give yourself about 30 to 45 days closing date. Don't go 60. 60 is too much. You don't want to piss off your seller, right? Especially if you're like in a hot market. 30 days should do it, right? So just give yourself that. Put a condition for finances. And another thing, see what happened to me was when I was talking to the seller, everything was fine, like yeah, no problem, everything's peachy. We signed all the paperwork, everything was at lawyers, and I called him like, hey, listen, I want to replace the windows. Can you just like whatever works for you? I'm not working right now, so whatever time works for you, just let me know. I'm gonna come over and I'm just gonna measure the windows. I need to replace the windows so I can just put an order ahead of a time so I don't have to wait. Yeah, sorry, you know, yeah, Rona, this, and then they didn't even answer the phones. After like the 3 days, like they didn't even answer the phone anymore. So they didn't even answer me back. So I'm like, okay, so definitely they don't want me to come in over, and which made me a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, made me a little bit nervous, but put in one of those conditions, right? Put a condition of you coming over and visiting for like 2 or 3 times, whatever, for measurements, for whatever it is that you need. Just put in, like, even if you don't come in, just give yourself a leverage so you can actually use that. Give yourself space, right? Just in case, like, I want to change this, I want to measure something, just go ahead of the time, right? So those are the little things you can put in. It's my suggestion, you can do it or not. Anyways, so if this video helped you out, that would actually conclude everything. So if this video helped you out, please short squeeze the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments description. Let me know. In the comments, let me know, is there anything that you want to know? If there's something that I forgot, that I missed, yeah, if you have any questions, let me down below. Thank you. See you in the next video.